Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Hashtag Ask Jim 72. We're up to number. I'll get through a few things first before we go into what we're going to talk about to start with, which will be the lockdown and stuff. Just want to mention a couple of things. So everyone, thank you who shared and liked and watched on the sledgehammer video during the week. We did do the sledgehammer and you did get a resolution from Harvey Norman, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, they actually, nice guy rang me up the next day and apologised for not getting to me earlier and said you can have money back, which I've now got.
See, the best of both worlds. You smash one up, then you got to do a hammer. And we're waiting on. We actually then had an offer from Kogan, hopefully maybe come through, and they're going to send you one and do some cross promo.
They offered to give me one, so that'd be nice. That'd be a nice result if we get that.
So everyone who's watching now, guys, welcome on board. Make sure you leave a comment in there. We're going to get to a lot of them tonight, guys, and make sure you share the feed as well. Sharing the feed helps it reach more people. We want more people to comment in the Jim's group one, so I can answer your questions in real time. If not, Ben's going to scan. And I want to just do one more thing as well before we go. Just make everyone aware that we're tethering off a phone tonight, so if it does drop out, it's not our fault. It's the internet connection out here, but we're on a phone. But also personal training. So personal training has done a new offer for people. So I just want to read it out here. So if you head over to the Jim's Group personal training page, they're in Melbourne, but we need franchisees everywhere, but in Melbourne this offer. So they're going to offer a free virtual personal training classes to all Jim's Group clients in Melbourne, past and future, to assist through the next 6 weeks of COVID lockdown. So the sessions will not require any equipment or special space. It can simply be done in your lounge room floor. Regular exercise is well known for assisting in management of stress and anxiety. So definitely during this time, take them up. Even if you're not in great shape, it's a great way during this time to keep the kilos off. There is no catch, they're for free. So virtual Zoom classes with Jim's Personal Training. And the way to get sent the details for the free training is head to the Jim's Personal Training Facebook page. Not bad. Personal training over Zoom. That'd be good.
Exercise is good. Keep fit.
That's it. It's a great offer from Personal Training, so make sure you head to their Facebook page as well. So jump your comments in there, guys. We're going to get into it straight away. So Katie Reading's jumped in, which is great. Eric Jurgen says, hey, guys, nice to be here with you again. So g'day, Eric, and hope you're well. Dave McDonald says, g'day, Jim and Joel. Jim, can you still go to the farm? And how are the call centre staff coping working from home?
Yeah, I go to the farm every week. I mean, if they never stop me, but if they did, I just say I'm going to my farm. I've got chickens. It's a working farm. It actually makes money. Not much, but yet. But so far, what's the other question?
And he said as well, how's the call centre staff coping from working from home?
Oh, they're all remote. They've actually never come back.
They haven't, no. They've been remote for a while. They haven't. But, they've been doing interviews today, actually, for the spring intake. They've been doing them today, so...
The whole office works remarkably well with most of our staff away. In fact, the productivity's even gone up. They reckon software development's better. We get more done in lockdown than we used to in the past.
There's no distractions, is there? I probably don't like socialising the old web people, the old development people. There's
not a very social bunch. You go in there, it's like the tomb. So they actually, apparently without any distractions or without any commuting, they actually tend to get a bit more done. So it's worked out quite well.
It's been good, but the call centre's hiring for their spring intake, so they're doing a bit of interviewing now. So anyone who's watching who's in there, we hopefully you come on board. They've got a great training program there and very long-term employees in the call centre, don't they?
They're great people too. We tend to take the cream out in gyms too.
Yeah, we get in trouble for that, so we can't do that for a while. So what I want to do, guys, is make sure if you're watching, guys, leave a comment question, which is great. We've got 60 people watching, so great. Share the feed as well. Click share in the bottom, that helps us. So what I want to talk about now, James, is the lockdown in Victoria, obviously. We knew you'd have a lot of thoughts on this. So, for the good thing is a lot of other states and the territories haven't been, locked down, but Victoria...
It doesn't feel good to be the plague capital of the country, does it? I mean,
really. There's a lot of jokes online about Victoria, more than normal. So
yeah, everybody jokes about Victorians anyway, especially with the Premier we've got.
That's very true. I know it's not that good.
National joke, but not very funny when you live in the state.
So what's happened when the lockdown got announced? Obviously, it's annoying because we had training going. We thought training was going to get to relatively normal, and now we can't. So it's
we really like in-person training. It was great last time to be able to meet with our training new franchisees and just hello to them and have a bit of a chat with them and stuff. And I really like that. I think it's good to have that connection, and they could just see what we do. So online training works, I guess, but I don't think it's the same. So
what we'll do though, if you are a prospect watching, if there is demand, we'll do like a live Q&A with Jim and stuff. We did it last time with Mike Davenport. So if you are a prospect going, I might hold off, we'll try and get your training through, and you can have a live Q&A with Jim.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we don't know when it's going to come back, do we? We don't know.
Well, at least 6 weeks, but who knows?
Yeah. So how do you reckon the whole situation's been handled, Jim? I know you're quite into your politics and got some strong views on it.
I think it's shocking. I mean, I don't think anybody could really seriously claim that Chairman Dan's done a good job out of this.
Chairman Dan, right?
Well, I mean, the Black Lives Matters thing too. I know he got advice from the police on it, but really, when you have 10,000 people crowding the streets, and then you say everybody else has got to sacrifice and not see their families, not seeing their dying parents and stuff, but it's okay for 10,000. I mean, what is it? What message does it say? It says, stuff you, we don't care, And then the other thing with the contractors, that was abysmal. He was actually offered Australian Defence Force personnel, professional people, to do the quarantine. He said, no, we use contractors. So what do? 3 minutes of training, sign this document, and it Bob's your uncle. And that caused all kinds of infections. So, I mean, we've got a really, really pathetic state government, I have to say.
I shouldn't joke about it, but yeah, it was quite humorous off there when it came out what happened in that hotel, but obviously the ramifications has been quite serious. So
it was just so abysmally badly run.
Well, I feel sorry for the gyms and that. The gym's back open, week and a half, everyone's booking online doing the system.
Well, what about me? I just got playing squash again. Mind you, I got beaten all the time. I played a couple of good games this week. Fortunately, I got 2 good games of squash in, and now I can't play again for 6 weeks.
Do you reckon it'll end before 6 weeks, or? No. You don't reckon? No.
I'd like to think so, but jeepers, it's going bad now. It's getting worse every day.
Yeah.
So they did an interesting thing. I think in Coventry in England, they actually got this saliva swab test, which is a lot less intrusive than the one that goes up your nose and stuff. I haven't had it, but I've heard it's not very nice. And they do this saliva test, and they're actually testing everybody in the whole city.
Yeah, you're right. What they're doing in the States to accelerate before a vaccine is trying to get quick test results. So go bang, bang, and then the result pretty much instantly. So they reckon they can get that across the line. It might go a long way.
If you could do it, and you could just test everybody in affected suburbs, absolutely everybody.
It needs to be quick, though. Quick.
Yeah, maybe it would work. But then you could have a proper system for quarantine, which we haven't had in the past. I just think we've got, isn't it about 3 state government ministers being sacked or something like that, or resigning? I mean, something like that. They've really fouled it up.
Bit of a shambles there. So let's get into the questions, guys. So thanks for watching. That was pretty quicker than I thought, so we'll get onto it. All right, Dave McDonald says, g'day, we've done that question. So Katie Reading says, hi, Jim and Joel. All right, Dave McDonald, do you need me to hook you up with some better internet? Absolutely, David. I think we do. We're going to go.
Well,
right.
We've got to find out whether we're on the NBN here. It's available. I just got it in my box, so we've got to check whether we've got the best internet there is.
Yeah, we're on Ben's phone, so hopefully Ben's phone's going all right. What network you're on, Ben? What do you use? Optus. He uses Optus.
It's back on the network now.
It's back on the network now, so we're going to go. Hopefully it's not too bad. We might need to do it, David, if the answer from Eugene's not good with it. Then Katie really says, I need personal training. I eat too many Joan donuts. Well, you can get a free personal training now via Zoom in Victoria. So take them up on the offer on the Facebook page. Eric Jurgens goes, yes, you do. That's 2 boxes of 100 I've sold you now.
Eric, you do well out of donuts. I know that.
And Julie Anderson's
got a great business going, actually, but donuts are a part of it.
And Julie Anderson saying, I just ate T-bone, oh God. Then Craig Roaf's tuned in, said, evening, guys. So Craig Roaf, I think, is the father of the young man who he sent. He's a member of the public, I think. He sent a book and a hat about doing a Jim's mowing business. And
good stuff.
And Hader Saints tuned on again saying, hi, Jet. So g'day to Hader, and thanks for watching as always and the support. We've got a podcast with him coming out soon. And Dave McDonald says, the call centre got a number of wrong the other day. Yes, I took a lead. Had the number fixed in 15 minutes. Someone made a mistake. However, having the calls recorded is great for efficiency.
Yes, it is. Interesting thing is about 9 times out of 10, if the number's wrong, it's when somebody puts it in online.
Yeah, it's a data entry error.
The girls are really quite amazingly good. They make occasional mistakes, but not very often. People don't know their own phone numbers and email addresses. That's absolutely for sure.
Very, very true. Then Eric Jones gone, hey guys, I now just found out that I have to self-isolate for a couple of days till my daughter gets the test results back, as she was at High Point recently. So sadly, I won't be out on the day on the road for at least
a couple of Jim's franchises got it. It's the first time I've ever heard of it.
Really?
Both in Victoria, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise than that, nobody's ever got it.
Yeah?
I don't think they got it working, actually.
Really? Okay, well, that's good to hear. So hopefully they're still doing their thing and they need to do it. Okay, guys, so Jane Ross says, hi, guys, from Jane and Taylor Goulburn. Hopefully you got your book yet up in Goulburn as well. We sent them a one from Jim's Cleaning as well. But what's happening with that? So if a franchisee tests positive, obviously they self-isolate.
And everybody connected with them.
There's contract tracing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's keep going down. Dave McDonald, I got tested. It's not that bad. I hate needles more than the testing. Apparently you can get tested to be positive and it shows a negative result. Well, that happened to one of the Essendon Football Club players. They got tested and returned a false positive or false negative or whatever it was called. And then Paul Sandals has gone in, thanks for the plug for the free PT sessions. So no worries, Paul. So make sure you take them up on that, guys. So make sure everyone who's watching, guys, chuck in the questions. I know we've got a lot of people watching, which is great. Chuck in a question or comment or share the feed, as Jim will ask some. And we want to ask your questions as well, guys. So what's the general settlement from Victoria at the moment with franchisees when the lockdown news came?
I don't think we're too concerned. I mean, most franchises aren't affected.
Yep.
Our leads have generally been way up this year. June was actually like up 15% in leads from the previous year. The only divisions that are affected is cleaning a little bit, though some franchises are doing extremely well, better than ever. Test and tag had some effect, and building inspections probably the worst affected.
Because of the market, because the market.
But most franchisees have actually got so much work they can't handle it. Our unserviced leads are through the roof.
True, very, very true. And also the What else is there? So hopefully they get. So that's why it's a kick in the guts. I guess for the Victorian franchisees, especially in those divisions, they're planning ahead and all that sort of stuff, and then that's sort of gone banging away we go again.
Yeah, it's
a massive kick in the
bad.
guts. Yeah.
It's disappointing after all the suffering people have been through. I mean, you know, from the point of view of our company, we're not doing too bad because we've got a lot of franchise inquiries and we're actually getting growth.
Mm.
They're really starting to grow very, very fast. So from our point, because we've got plenty of work, but for the sake of the economy and people are suffering, it's pretty hard. It really is. You just couldn't believe it when we seemed almost out of it, and then suddenly, bang! All these infections come in. Very disappointing.
Well, do you think people will cop it for 6 weeks? Do you reckon it'll end earlier, maybe? They'll ease restrictions earlier than the 6 weeks.
I don't know. I don't know if people are going to have the patience this time. I honestly don't. I think they've had enough. That's what's happening in America. They're still like having a plague over there. And people they're loosening up. People just can't tolerate it for a length of time.
Mm. And Malcolm Bradley's gone here. So the NZ government did the right thing. We are reaping the rewards now. I knew this would come up. Only issues are the idiots in isolation breaking out and going walkabout and potentially infecting others. Absolutely. So Malcolm's over in testing tag in NZ.
Well, they have done well. But then most Australian states are pretty good too. Like Tasmania, for example, South Australia, Western Australia, virtually no infections at all. I mean, basically apart from Victoria, we're doing exceptionally well. Now, I'm thinking people don't recognise is that our actual death rate per head of population is about the same as New Zealand. We really haven't suffered any worse. Mm. But what's going to happen now, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look with the Housing Commission towers as well. That was not a good look at all.
No.
Quite a bungle. Let's keep Stephen Boots. Hi, Jim and Joel. FYI, your internet has now locked up 3 times. Absolutely. Hopefully it's back to normal. Thanks for letting us know. Dave Roberts says, Jim, with the new lockdown news coming in, do you think this on and off will continue until we find a vaccine? If so, how far do you think this will be?
Oh, I hope not.
Great question.
I hope not. I mean, if you clamp down enough and seriously enough and do enough testing, we should be able to get on top of it. Most of the country is pretty well free. So, I mean, who knows? Honestly. Well, I don't think we can get it to normal this year. I don't think we're going to be living a normal life no matter what happens in Victoria. Because it can so easily flare up. You just need one person and they go to a gathering where there's 30 other people and just goes like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure, guys, leave a comment in there as well because I forgot to say at the start, books are obviously available. So anyone who leaves a good question or comment and they're coming through now, which is great. Jane Rogers says, thanks for the book. We did receive it. Hopefully you like it. Emmett D'Urso's gone, Comrade Jim. Any ideas for Jim's COVID testing? I don't know why this bloke calls you Comrade Jim. I don't know what's given the impression. I know you're complete opposite. I'm
a complete opposite, yes.
I know you went nuts at this bloke saying come here and say it to your face last time, I think. So you worked up with that. Then Jim's COVID testing, I don't know. I know we always want mobile home services in the health industry, though. That's something you're looking at, isn't it?
Not much of a franchise, though, because the trouble is you can't sign a person up for Jim's COVID testing because it's all going to be gone in a year's time. I want a franchise with a long-term prospect, and I don't think this one is.
Well, it's some good mobile. I've seen some businesses online, like mobile doctors that come to you and they do like checkups in your workplace and stuff to make sure. We'd love
to do Jim's doctors, that's for sure. I think sending a doctor to your home, which used to be what happened in the very old days, especially for rich people. I think there's prospects in that. I really do. I mean, doctors get paid pretty well, but you know, some people would pay a lot to have a doctor come to them.
Absolutely. Then David Don says, Jim, you said that you found it hard selling encyclopedias door to door. I once had a job selling doors door to door. Geez, that was hard. Geez, that was hard as everyone already had one. Very clever. Very, very clever. Very clever. Let's keep going there. I thought he was half serious then, David. You might be half serious. I don't know. Let me go on.
Well, I
there.
guess you sell better doors. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Place your door with one that's identical. But
it's not bad. You know exactly what they've got. You can critique it right there.
I know my wife's setting up Jim's security doors, which was very successful in the past until the guy who was running it retired.
It's had around 30 franchisees I've had a look at one stage, I'm pretty sure. So.
No. It was only just one person.
No, but it's had 30 people under the code. Absolutely. If you're checking FMS, they did have it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Had a few people.
Business. We get plenty of demand, and we find that the brand works very well for that because of the security angle. The guy doing it actually, he said that he had a factory making these security doors, and he'd sell them for $850 out of his factory, his own brand, and $1,000 for the identical brand for Jim's. He just couldn't get the price for his own brand, which is just that sense of security. And I must say, we do occasionally replace a security door which is like 9 years old and it's under warranty. So
yeah.
Which wouldn't.
We do have the work guarantee, the Jim's work guarantee on Jims.net. You can have a look.
Yeah. Well, this is the product guarantee, service guarantee. So, a 9-year-old door. If you went to him and you bought his door, you would have been gone because he's out of business, but gyms are still here.
That's
so
true.
we just said, show us the warranty. Yeah, okay, we'll replace it.
So we have 75 people watching, which is great, guys. So make sure you leave a comment, especially tonight, books on offer, and also hit share, which helps us out. Eric Jurgen says, my son Luke was all booked in to do training next week, so sadly he has to do it via online. But does that mean that he is joining the gym's team? I suppose that means I'm an honorary member of Dog Wash and Mowing now, as well being his mobile cafe.
Yes.
So I think he's definitely got the most franchisees
in his family. You've got 3 in the family. I've never heard of anybody having 3, so that would be a record.
And then we got Paul Evans joining us as well, which Paul Evans actually rang us up. Well, I got onto him during the week about Harvey Norman. He actually emailed them on your behalf and they said, give us the order number, we can do it.
A lot of people actually did contact Harvey Norman. They did get flooded with people, which was very nice. Thank you for those who did that.
And Andy Stewart saying test and tag jobs are cancelling again. So I presume Andy's in Victoria,
yes,
which is a shame.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what can you do?
So what's on offer for Victorian franchisees? Let's say in test and tag. I know it's up to franchisors, but...
Well, if a franchisee genuinely can't work, we'll always suspend them or reduce their fees or something like that, depending on well, if they can't work, of course. I think we talked about Greenacres in New Zealand.
Yes, Greenacres when they kept charging them fees.
They kept charging them fees, even though they were locked down and unable to work by government order. And people in gyms just laughed at that. They said, who on earth would think of a thing like that? Nobody in gyms would even consider such a thing.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Andy. Hopefully it's not I know it's because it's obviously with their line of work.
We'll look after you. If you can't work, we'll make sure your fees are reduced or even suspended or whatever the story is.
Yeah. Very true.
Sorry to hear it. It's a great division, test and tag. It's a really, really brilliant division. It's a great earner. It's very popular, very low attrition rate, very good support. Brilliant division. And then when the crisis goes, you'll get busy again because all the...
They've got a new website coming up too, which is going to help with converting
run
online.
Behind.
Absolutely. The Dave McDonald says, Jim, how about tell us how you got a job on a farm in WA when you lived in Melbourne?
Oh, family connections. Just friends of the family.
Friend of the family.
Yeah.
Networking.
My parents knew there's a lady she knew who actually was grew up on the farm.
Okay.
So she introduced it. It was a good experience actually. 4 months, but it was something you'd never forget.
4 months riding horse and all sorts of stuff. You're a bit of a
jackaroo. I learned to drive.
You're a jackaroo, right? So you mean drive? You say drive with a horse, right?
No. I mostly drove the trucks and things.
Okay. I thought you meant drove cattle and stuff.
Well, we did go cattle. Not like droving. It was like a wool and wheat place. We had a few cattle and we had some sheep and you're driving the sheep around and it was fun, clearing paddocks and building fences and stuff. I mean, farmers are amazing people. I must say I'm not, even though I've got a farm and I do work there. But the guy who works on it, Mark, is incredible. He just knows everything. He's an amazing guy. He really is. One of the things I did last weekend was we go around with the wattles, and they sprout all over the place, the blackwoods, because that's what's around us. And they sprout up. Rather than getting rid of them, what we actually do is you go through and you chop all the low branches. And so, let's leave it tufts at the top. And what that means is that all the growth goes into making this really long, strong poles. And then when they're ready, he cuts them and uses them for fences and stuff. So he's incredibly good at building things that are using natural materials.
They're very handy people, farmers. All of them are very handy.
I think they're the salt of the earth. I love.
It's one of the lowest. It's the lowest paid profession per hour. If you look at the hours they put in and all the costs and all that sort of stuff, they work for.
But the lifestyle is good. I mean, I just do it for fun. I just love to work on the farm. I just go up there. I'm cutting bracken, which is reducing the fire risk, and I'm trimming these trees and cutting down blackberries, and actually picking up llama poo and taking it, putting it on the veggie patches. I mean, it's just great fun.
Farmers love it. It's a lifestyle. I don't think farmers do it because they just love it. That's what they do. It's a passion.
And you're outside. You're working physically. You're with nature. It's just a great thing. That's why gardening is kind of the nearest thing you can do. Mowing lawns, gardening, the nearest thing you can do to actually being a farmer, while still making a decent living. Because the hourly rate for mowing lawns is a lot higher than this.
I was going to say, I think the mowing franchisees do a lot better than what farmers do. I can tell you right now per hour.
Generally speaking, we like our franchisees to make at least $60 an hour, and I'm sure the great majority of mowing guys do. Making $60 an hour as a farmer, you'd be pretty good.
Yeah, then that's definitely not happening. Definitely not happening with the $1 and $2 milks and all that sort of stuff. So, guys, we've got 70 people watching, which is great. Make sure you leave a comment for Jim or question. We're going to get to as many as we can. You can ask anything. Make sure you share the feed as well. Books on offer for questions and comments, so make sure you leave them in there. You've got a good chance. Nigel Creamer, hey fellas, the border crossing, I've heard this, was crazy today. Yeah. Some people were over 90 minutes late, just like living in the big smoke.
Jim, I feel sorry for people in Albury Wodonga.
Well, that's where he is. That's where Nigel is.
It's the same city, basically. basically, and it's divided down the middle by the river. My goodness, it must be a nightmare there.
We've got some franchisees who live right there. They've got half their clients over there and half the clients here. Like, what do? South Australia's the same. We have some franchisees on the border there.
I don't blame the government for what they're doing in the New South Wales government for cutting us off. I mean, if we can mismanage our state so badly, we don't want to infect anybody else, but my goodness.
Well, I don't know what they can do, though, because I know they might have half their clients here and half their clients there. Can they get an exemption or something? I don't know.
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how you can get across the border. If you've got to wait 90 minutes, how
it's not worth it, is it? Your clients are going to have to wait, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I know we have franchises in Victoria and the
it's never happened before.
There's no plan for it, is there?
There's no precedent for dividing New South Wales and Victoria like they're separate countries.
Maybe they'll build a wall, mate. Maybe we'll see what they have to do. So I think that's the way they're going. They'll be quite popular, too. Sam, are you just going here? How much cost for Jim's mowing business? So how much does a Jim's mowing business cost?
With equipment, typically maybe $25,000. I mean, it depends. If you buy an establishment with a lot of customers, it's more. But virtually anybody can afford to buy one, though, because you can normally get finance, and if you can't, they'll often do vendor terms.
I saw a silly comment today. We do obviously I look at a lot of comments because of the ads and stuff they're doing. Someone goes, "Oh, you need to get in debt, before you can start your own business." I'm sort of thinking, well, which business can you not get into debt before pay out money to start? Like.
Well, the thing is, the actual cost is so minor. But the point of it is, as I often say, and statistics show that if you go into your own business, you're 90 to 95% chance you'll die in the first year. Now, people say...
Not die, but you mean like business will fail.
Your business will fail, yeah, your business will die. Yeah. I mean, to us, the end of a business is like a death, isn't it? But the point of it is, you go for 6 months, okay, and you earn effectively nothing because your business failed. You've got to think what that cost you. What would you have been doing if you earned a job? Now, you would probably earned at least what you're doing, $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 in that period of time. So you've actually forgone that income. Now, with a franchise, you might spend that money, but then you've got something. And at the end of it, even if you do decide to get out, very often you can sell it anyway and get your money back. So it's a pretty good deal, really, if going into business. It honestly is. It's
an annoying misconception I see from people. They think, it's way easier to go yourself, don't pay fees and just start up. Well, if that was the case, everyone would be doing it successfully.
But they don't. Most of them fail.
And that's the case. Exactly right.
And actually, if you do your research on that, you will find that's the case. People talk about how many businesses fail in their first year, but they're talking about people who might spend $250,000 to set up a shop. That is not the same level as what we do. Most services businesses fail very quickly.
Now thanks for that one there. And the next one here is from Lucy Lou. Comrade Jim. I don't know who this comrade is. She goes, what about Jim's thugs? Take care of the greedy, idle, rich. That's the comment or question. So we read everything out. So put him in there. You see,
Jim Studs.
It says not Jim Studs. It says, Comrade Jim. What about Jim's thugs? Take care of the greedy, idle, rich. That's the comment. We read everything out. So put him in there.
Well, I'm rich, but I'm not greedy or idle. Maybe I am greedy. I don't know. I think we could do a lot. I would really like to see. I think Australia's far too unequal. I mean, that's one of the things I'm very strong about. Too much of what we do is basically defending the people who got wealth and education, and we not looking after the poor sods left behind. And I think that, like, the amount of money we pour into things like arts degrees is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's changed a bit now, isn't it?
Well, they are trying to crack down, but then actually what they get on you say, that case if we get so much more for arts degrees, we're going to have lots and lots and lots of them. So it could have an adverse effect. But they subsidise these degrees, these ridiculous, useless degrees, where you've got millions of people ending up with degrees and they can't even find a job, and yet we have to import plumbers and electricians from other countries because we don't have enough. Because they don't provide enough funding to educate people who don't want to go and sit in the university classroom for 3 years. There's more law students in Australia than there are lawyers. I mean, what a stupid waste of resources is that?
We know your passion for lawyers, Jim. We know your passion.
Well, I'm not saying all lawyers are bad. My number 4 son is a lawyer, and he's a good guy. But he was one that quoted me statistics. James is great. He's a great guy. He really is. I love James. And everybody loves him too, and he's doing very well actually. He's been offered a partnership at a law firm. He's only been out 2 years, so he's great. But at the same time, we don't need so many lawyers, but we do need people prepared to go out and do some actual physical work to keep the country going. And we need people like tradies and lawn mowing contractors and fencers and stuff. And there's plenty of work.
Yeah, well, the first year apprenticeship wages are a disgrace. I had a few cousins do apprenticeships, and those first 2 years they're living off nothing. You know, if you don't live at home with your parents, you're stuffed.
But not only that, but the employers actually cost them money too.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make money because you put effort training. I mean, basically, why can't the government provide a living wage and so forth to people who want to be an apprentice? We need people of that nature.
But also the narrative in school, you're told from year 10, if you don't, take this seriously, or you're going to be a bum or whatever. If you don't pick your,
the trouble is, they actually look at statistics which say that if you've gone to university, you earn more money on average than if you don't. Well, that's true, because what you do is you get people and you say, you've got to get good exams, you've got to get good exams. So the people who are the most hardworking, the most industrious, the smartest, but particularly the most hardworking, go on to university. That's a selection process. It's got nothing to do with what the university does. All the university does is pock a while of useless garbage into your head about left-wing ideology and stuff like that, and rigid dogmatic thinking, and all praised Comrade Marx and all the rest of it. I mean, that's what universities are about. They're bloody useless. They're a waste of time. I couldn't give a stuff about university graduates. When I employ somebody, I'd much rather have a person who had a good own business. They'd be a far better bet for me than, mowing lawns or whatever, than somebody who had some stupid, useless degree.
There you go.
And yet government policy is all about that. And then there's people like the Greens who want to say, let's make university education free. Oh yeah, more money for the well-off. I mean, that's pathetic.
I agree.
Yeah.
I wasted my time. My uni degree is useless. Doing all this sort of stuff. Thanks to that one, Lucy Lee.
But where you've done well is because you came and you did a job and you did it well.
That's it.
And that's nothing to do with anything you learned at university, I guarantee you.
It was an expensive bit of paper for the old girl. So the old girl's happy, but that's it. Then Billy Gregg's gone here. Hey, Jim, Star Trek or Star Wars? Question mark.
Oh, Star Wars. I used to like Star Trek when I was younger, but it's a bit bolshy. I mean, I don't know.
A bit bolshy?
Star Trek?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? A bit boring or what?
Look at the Ferengi, for example. Look at the Ferengi. They're supposed to be the archetypal businessmen, and they're so... No commercial culture would be like that, because they're all so greedy and dishonest that nobody would deal with them. The point about business, actually, is to be successful, you've got to be trustworthy.
What about the banks? Sounds like the banks when you describe that.
Well, I'm not going to favour the banks. It's not my favourite level of business. But the fact of the matter is, I don't like... Star Wars is very... It's almost communist if you think about it. I mean, everybody who used to work for the government, and the people who are capitalists, like the Ferengi, are seen as obnoxious and evil. So Star Wars is better. I mean, when you've got really admirable people that you can look up to, like Emperor Palpatine.
No, I knew you were going to say to Palpatine. I knew that. If someone's watching the first
I mean,
time,
this is a great man. This is somebody who takes control. The strong leader the galaxy needs. I reckon that's an example for our young. Perhaps don't go butchering children as he did in Star Wars 3. I think that was a bit much. But apart from that, I think this guy knows who he's talking about.
Only a little bit over the top. Paul Sanders saying, welcome, Haydar. Saying just you and me signed up so far. So Haydar signed up for the free Zoom training from Jim's Personal Training. So make sure you head to the Jim's Personal Training.
Sorry to say, Haydar, you do need it.
Jim just goes around fat shaming everyone. He fat shames me every week. He's going fat shaming Haydar online now.
Well, at least Ben doesn't need to be fat shamed so far, but I'm sure he spends enough time around here eating all this junk food. Fish and chips in the office today, I saw that.
He's got a very enviable metabolism. He can eat KFC buckets and everything.
Yeah, it's because of age though. As you get older, you find it harder. But Haydar did a great job actually. He lost quite a few kilos and then.
You can't be fat shaming people. He's all right. You've got to leave us alone, Jim.
He's a great guy, but he hasn't got a great body. Sorry, Haydar.
Let's move on.
I had lunch with Haydar and somebody else, and I kind of like we went and had pizzas, and I had like a half of a small one. He had a whole medium-sized pizza. I couldn't believe he ate it all.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's all right. I wouldn't mind that myself. It's all good.
I'm
with you and eating whole pizza. That.
Come on, not have exercise.
Well, he's going to do the Zoom with Jim's Personal Training via that. Let's see how that goes.
It is such a giant house though, because if he'd run around his house about 3 times, he'd just about wear himself out.
We'll keep moving on there. You've deflected it from me for this week, Haydar. I'm not copping to you on this week.
Don't worry about that.
Come on, Jim, fair dinkum. I've got some muscle about me. Girls like muscle. You're a bit, I know you're married and that, but you gotta have a bit of muscle about you, a bit of size, bit of intimidation.
You reckon? I'm on my rowing machine every morning and working on the farm, so right the weekend. You wanna indulge in a contact of strength sometime?
Absolutely, I want to do that with you. Absolutely, I'll back myself. I'll bench press you, no problem at all. I've got no problem with all that. Get you up, put you over the head. I'll give it a crack. We should do it actually for a video while we're in lockdown.
We should too. We should have an arm wrestle or something.
Do an arm wrestle. Well, if I break your arm, don't fire me.
Don't keep yourself young, fella.
We'll give it a crack.
These young whippersnippers.
I hope you've drank your milk. I hope you've drank your milk and your bones are strong. We'll see. Here we go. Dave McDonald's gone, did you shoot a gun on the farm? Question mark.
No, not yet. Mind you, though, I'm just about running the deer down. They're all over the place.
Really? The deer on the farm, yeah?
Yeah, they are. They're a feral pest, the deer there.
But you don't shoot on the farm, but you've got a gun license, don't you?
No, I've got a gun license.
Got a gun license.
I don't eat meat though, so what am I going to do it? But I mean, if we need to control the pests, we've got a gun. But yeah.
And then we got Eric Jurgen says, replying to Billy, wow, you have to ask Star Wars. So that's it. Billy Gregg goes,
I do like Star Wars. I find the lightsaber battles a bit endless and tedious, but
they're not
I just like the intrigue and it's fun. It's just that. Now, why can't they have the Empire win? I mean, for a change, honestly.
And Billy Gregg's gone, no, the one with Darth Vader is better. Absolutely. So Star Wars. And Katie Regan says, I can't speak for every other dog watch, but I personally am busier than ever, working 7 days a week, and I'm absolutely booked for weeks at this stage. Yeah. Luckily for me, people at home and realise their dog stinks. They probably do. And Katie, I think you're in one of the lockdown areas too, so it's great to hear that you can still work, and that's fantastic.
Look, the risk to our people, and unfortunately, that's one thing I do think the New Zealanders went over the top. There's no possible way that a person going out mowing lawns or washing dogs with proper precautions or cleaning pools can possibly pass on infection. I think you're far more likely to pass on infection if you're at home sitting there bored thinking, okay, let's have some mates over. I really do. I think it was over the top, and I don't think that helped at all. So unfortunately, we never went that far in Australia, and I don't think we will either.
That's it. Thanks everyone watching. Keep sharing and commenting, guys. We're going to catch up now. We just went a bit of a rant before. Dave McDonald says,
"When you get me started on certain things, I will rant."
Oh, you want to do these feat of strengths, like the old, feats of strength? We might have to do something. We'll work it out. Maybe have to mix some endurance in there, because you'll get me in the endurance, but in the feats of strength, I'll back myself. Dave McDonald says,
that reminds me of Seinfeld, the feats of strength.
I love George Costanza's dad. Yeah, Festivus. Jimovus. We have Jimovus.
And they had a pole.
The aluminum pole. And you got to tell everyone how much they disappoint you. We could do that. Jim just sits around the table saying how much I'm disappointed with all the national staff. You. We call it Jimovus or something. We'll go around. We could do it. Dave McDonald says, I was doing a job on a farm today. Ended up at the neighbour's house 4 k's away. I'd done about 8 houses in the 15 k's with those 2 farms. No lead fees on any of them either. Bonus.
Wow, that's good.
I think David's on $1,000 an hour now. Let us know what hourly rate you're on, David. You keep putting your prices up and keep staying busy.
Actually, talking about using power on farms, one of the things we do, I've just got myself some, those electric dog fences, the one where they put the collar on the dog and there's a wire.
Yeah.
Okay, we're trying that on goats.
I thought you were going to say national staff here.
No, national staff, that'd be good. Keep you working 24 hours a day. You can't leave. I can't get out of the place. Well, do some more work then.
Yeah, I think Archie needs to be woken up in the corner.
Good idea. Archie never goes home anyway. He's usually at about midnight.
Because he's sleeping here all the time. That's why you didn't wake him up.
He sleeps under the desk. But what we're going to do though, we've got these blackberries, and we don't want to use poisons and stuff because I don't like that kind of stuff. Nor does Mark. So we're actually we've got a goat there. So we're actually going to trial on the goat. So I've got them all ordered. We're going to take the wire out, run it around, and see if we can keep the goat to clean up the blackberries without eating everything else.
They're a great form of a lawnmower, aren't they? They'll chew everything and eat everything.
Well, yeah, especially blackberries. Blackberries are a menace, and if you don't use chemicals, it's really hard to control them.
You do have to.
I've been digging them out like mad, but jeepers, there's a lot of blackberries on that place.
And Paul Evans says the government is corrupt, greedy and evil. Let's keep going on his...
Well, it depends what level of government. A bit more in favour of the national government. The national government's pretty good right now, I think. State government's pretty abysmal, and if you really want the absolute pits, talk about the local government of the Yarra Ranges.
I was going to go on that way. We'll move on. We're catching up to the comments now, guys, so thanks for leaving. We're going to try and catch up as much as we can. Steve O'Neill says, Jim, did you hear about, I can't say his name, Brazilian president catching COVID? What are your thoughts on him as a whole?
Who?
Brazilian president.
Oh, yeah.
He's a bit of a weapon, isn't he, I've heard?
He's a bit of a whack job, I mean, really, honestly.
Brazil's a great country, though.
Yeah. Great people, just lousy president.
Beautiful women, it's a great country. Best beaches, beautiful game.
Beautiful women.
Absolutely.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
I love South America.
They don't have temples, though.
No temples. We said, what are your thoughts on him as a whole? You don't know much about him, we've just heard he's a whack job.
Yeah, he's a bit of a whack job.
There we go.
I'm not in favour of whack jobs presidents. I mean, they got bad enough of what they got.
But it's quite ironic he caught it, so he caught COVID, and bit of irony in that. Nigel Cream has gone, we have work permits. They last 14 days. I work 3 Vic towns and 4 in New South Wales. Need to really manage when and where I work. Yeah. Absolutely, because it's going to take you 90 minutes to get across now. Gee whiz.
Good on you. Yeah, if you can do that.
So we get asked that question. So there's work permits. Obviously, Nigel's up in the Albury-Wodonga region. Hopefully it's the same for the Vic South Australia border, maybe.
We did very well at Albury-Wodonga. We've got about 6 test and tag guys up there, I think.
We need a lot of franchisees in Albury-Wodonga. I know there's big paper ads and stuff.
A lot of work.
Absolutely, heaps of work.
It's actually a great thing because if you want to live in a regional centre, and some people love the inner city, but a lot don't, and it's very expensive too. But if you want to live in a good lifestyle place, actually a Jim's franchise is a great option. A lot of people do that actually.
Up in the Murray up there as
I
well.
was talking to one franchisee who was a 10-year veteran, and he actually used to live in the city, and he said he's actually making the same money as he did when he was working in the city, but his cost of living is so much lower. He's got a beautiful house and spends time with his family. He says it's just incredibly better. The money is the same, but the lifestyle is way over the top.
100%. Eric Jurgen says, Jim, you were quite critical of Daniel Andrews earlier on, but do you think he should resign, or should one mistake not ruin his whole career? Your thoughts?
It's not one mistake.
Yes, I'm just reading what
It's
Eric
not
wrote.
one mistake. Come on. Well, actually, I think he should be voted out, but you can't do that, unfortunately, because the way the thing works. So it's going to be 2 years. People may have forgotten how bad this whole thing is. I don't know whether he'll ever recover personally, though. I mean, really, it's not just me. I'm not a great favourite of the Labor Party, but then, we've had some great Labor leaders. I reckon Hawke's about as good a Prime Minister we've ever had in this country. I always admire the guy, I really do. But, you've got to make comparisons, and Daniel Andrews is no Bob Hawke, that's for sure.
And let's go on. Dave McDonald says, Jim, do you believe in life on other planets? If so, what would they be like? And if not, why not?
God, certainly I do. I mean, there's like a quadrillion.
What's the paradox called? There's a thing, Vermes paradox, or something like that.
There have to be life on other planets. There have to be life all over the place. The really interesting thing is they haven't found us yet. I mean, I certainly don't believe they have. So which one thing suggests to me that we'll never travel faster than light, because if we had, I think it would have been found by somebody not at all friendly. So I think it's out there. I really do. Whether there's life in the solar system or not, I'll be very interested to see what they come out when they get down in the
They're
ocean.
doing the core stuff in the moons of Jupiter, yeah?
Yeah. Triton, I think they said one of the big things.
Yeah.
Because the gravity of the giant planets actually keeps things moving, and it
True.
It heats up the ice, so it makes it into water. So it's exciting. I mean, it's really love to know if there's life on Mars and what it's like, whether it's the same DNA as Earth or whether it's something completely different. I watch that avidly. One of the most amazing things, it really is astonishing, is that we're actually looking at the planets going around other stars. Now, I used to be completely fanatical about science fiction when I was young, and I'm still listening to the Foundation series for about the 10th time. But we always assumed that you'd have to go there and then find the planets. But we're nowhere even near going to other stars, but we're actually seeing them. That's the fascinating thing. I mean, who would have predicted that?
Yeah, I hope the investment keeps going on. I know it's probably under-resourced, but all the things with CERN and stuff they're doing is quite exciting. So
it's very sexy business. I mean, it really is.
It is.
Just the stuff that's going on and they're finding out, and we just didn't know, and it's just in the last few years. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I love cosmology myself, so I like watching Lawrence Krauss lectures and stuff like that about the origin of the universe. God doesn't come into it at all, but it's quite interesting. Darren Copper.
I don't think you can say that last part. I think we figured out you're an atheist by now.
We'll keep going on. So we're just catching up, guys. There's some great comments and questions, so we appreciate the angle you're putting them on here. Darren Cop says, every customer a fan. I enjoyed the book, Jim.
Thank you.
Good business motto. I saw the other day, your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after an experience with you becomes your trademark. What a great quote that is.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. Actually, I'm not very good personally. That's one of my great drawbacks. I've just been reading a book.
But he's saying he saw that quote the other day. But it is a great motto.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I appreciate the comment. But you look at someone like Ronald Reagan, for example. Again, a US president I admire greatly, and it's not the political. I've also admired Jimmy Carter too. But there was a book for his personal assistant who worked with him in the 10 years after he resigned as president, and just the kind of person he was and the way he had to make people feel at ease, and he was just a very likable guy, very considerate, very courteous, amazing guy. I just wish I had some of his personal qualities. I really do.
Well, thanks for that comment, Darren. That was great. Maxine's gone, hey guys, how much is your dog wash franchise in Queensland, please? How much is the dog wash franchise in Queensland? I'm sure Sharon or someone from the dog wash family can jump in
most
there.
of the cost is in the
trailer.
The trailer, which is about $25,000, especially with air conditioning. The franchise itself doesn't cost very much. It's only usually, I think, about $10,000 or something.
There's various arrangements and stuff.
There's a few thousand more for training and stuff. But it's not expensive. It's the trailer itself that costs most of the money.
And there's some good franchisors up there. I know Belinda, and I think there's a couple other, but it's a really good.
Yeah. Dog wash is a fabulous division. Dog wash is going ballistic. It really is. It's growing so fast.
Well, it sounds like from Katie, it's going to get even people, as you said, look at their dog going a bit shabby looking or smelling it going.
Well, they reckon we've got about. Sharon reckons we'll have 200 by the end of the year.
Be fantastic.
It's actually the second biggest division.
Well, that will get us to 4,000, hopefully, franchisees this year. So
we're actually right now today, and we don't count anybody who's suspended, we're actually at the peak ever. We're at just under 3,900 franchisees.
Absolutely.
I think but 3,900, just below that.
So if you're inquire because we want to do a story on the 4,000th franchisee. So will you be that 4,000?
Sometime in the next few months, we're going to hit 4,000 franchisees. That's going to be a really, really big story because we've been approaching that for a while. We've been sort of the last 3 years, we've been more or less pegging, and now we're starting to grow. It's pretty exciting.
And
pumped about it.
We've also got a South Australia Channel 7 opportunity, which I'm going to find out more. I'm organising tomorrow. So 7 News, I think gyms will be over there in South Australia, hopefully as well. So we're going to more come in that space. Malcolm Bradley says, will the call centre keep operating if the restrictions get tougher and the staff can't come to work? Are they able to work remotely?
They have been working remotely for the last 3 months.
And then, that's it. And
they've done a fabulous job too. You really would not know. They're absolutely amazing. It's quite incredible, the off-site thing.
Well, it's probably misleading from the video we did with the vet because we had a vet come in to do the call and it looks like they were working normally again, but we only had a vet specially coming.
There's nobody in there at all.
No.
If you go to the national office, there's people there. There's less than usual, but in the call centre, there's nobody. But they're fine. Apparently, the girls want to come back in because the social life is so much.
That's it. They do miss each other.
They have some wonderful people, though. They really do. We get most of our staff as ex from the call centre, and they're the greatest people.
It's our recruitment agency. We don't need any work recruiters here. We take from there.
We get wonderful people. They do such an amazing job, and it's not an easy job to do. I'm just always impressed. I'm blown away by how those girls do it.
And then Lucy says, "No gym's history, then comrade." They love calling you comrade. These couple of people. I don't know where this has been picked up from, but we'll keep going. Dave McDonald says, "My near match."
You can call me, Lord or Emperor or something. I mean, that'd be more appropriate. If you consider where my preferences lie.
Yeah, I'll comment. Dave McDonald, my near match trial got cancelled. I missed near match. When will we be getting a better deal with them? Unfortunately, I don't know, Dave, because the trial was there. It needs numbers. I don't think the numbers was what they wanted for near map. Unfortunately, I do have franchisees who use it individually. But you can hook up them if they injury directly, maybe from Nearmap. They might be able to give you a better price than normal, but it's a great product. Stephen Boots, hi Jim and Joel. Question, Jim's Mowing has a great franchisee name. I'm in the middle of buying a franchise and questioning why I need to ask either a lawyer or accountant who needs to review the contract. I believed I don't need to waste my money. What's your point of view? It's a great question. I like that one, Stephen.
Okay, you have to be given the opportunity because that's what the government says. You don't have to do it. You just have to say that you've been given the opportunity. Look, the problem is a lot of franchise systems are complete rip-offs, and that's a sad thing to say, but they jolly well are. If you look at the things that have been going with Retail Food Group and stuff, and I don't even mention the service industry, there's been some really, really shocking stories going on, and we know about that. So they're trying to protect you. The only thing I'd say about that is, and I've said this to multiple inquiries, what you put in the contract has almost nothing to do with how good your business is. Because I know perfectly well what happens with these things. A lawyer might charge $300. They'll look at it. And I've had various things. First of all, a lawyer looks at it and says, oh, that's just the gym's contract. They're okay. Pass it back, $300, thanks. What are they doing? At the other extreme, I had one person who said, I'm going to buy a franchise because I gave it to a lawyer. He said, don't sign it. And I said, this is the best and most favourable pro-franchisee contract there's ever been. Ever been. And doesn't he realise that? He said, oh yes, he knows that. He says it's the best one around, but all franchise contracts are bad, so don't sign it. Yeah. Now, what is the point of paying $300 to somebody to say it's a franchise contract, don't sign it? It's completely stupid. What should happen, and this is what I've said to inquiry after every inquiry time they ask, I go and tell them what they should do. They should survey officially every franchisee in every franchise system every year, ask them whether they're happy confidentially, and then publish the results. And that would do 1,000 times more for the franchising industry, people not getting ripped off and all the garbage they put around in. The only good thing about the franchising code, in my view, is the fact that it forces people to give a list of current franchisees with contact numbers. And even that, I know quite well, is completely ignored. I've actually seen such a list, and they had all the franchisees, and they had the office numbers. So you couldn't actually speak to them, and they just ignored it.
It was as mobile numbers, exactly right.
There was no mobile numbers, it was just the office number for the whole lot. I've seen a list like that, which is just garbage. So it's really pretty meaningless. And the other thing too is they get you to do a disclosure document when it's so bureaucratic that it's actually harder to understand than the contract. And
True.
Most lawyers would struggle to understand what the disclosure document meant. But it's all based on, I think somebody went back and they said, okay, now we've got a franchise system which is in crisis. Now, we've got one group of people we really, really, really need to look after, and that is the lawyers and the financial advisors. Don't stuff about the franchisees. Let's do everything we can to help this crowd of people who desperately need more work. So it's basically it's a gravy train for the financial advisors and the lawyers who, to my mind, stuff all. If the government got off its backside and was prepared to actually do the polling themselves, paid for by the franchisor, and we cheerfully pay the cost. It's not that difficult to do. If they would pay for this and have this system, they would do so much for franchising in this country, and then a lot of these shonks would be shut down. And then maybe it would help some of our competitors. I don't care if they can do a better job than us; they deserve to do better than us, even though we're better known.
Well,
I just don't think we do enough to protect the little guy in this country. I really don't.
Well, there's your answer, Stephen. So welcome on board, and we hopefully we can't push you either way, but you make your decision based on that.
What you should do if you're interested in a franchise, I said it on Channel 7 the other day. I said, anybody, do your own homework. Don't rely on the lawyers. Don't rely on the financial advisors. It's garbage. It's waste of money, in my view.
So Stephen, we hopefully...
The government says you have to do it, so we have to tell you, so you do it. But I would just get hold of a list of every franchisee in the region you're looking at buying and their phone number, and sit down and you ring them and you just ask them, what's it like? How much work? What's your franchisor like? What support do you get? Would you do it again? The basic question is, do your homework. You spend a couple of hours doing that. It's an awful lot better value than any amount of time getting some lawyer to look at it, who knows nothing anyway.
There you go, Stephen. Advice from the man himself. So hopefully, as you can see, Jim's very passionate about it. So please take note of that.
I get very upset about it, actually. I'd love to do Jim's legal, and one of the things, it's one of the things I've really gone about. I'd love to get Jim's legal, and one thing I'd like to do is to actually help franchisees to actually fight back against these so-and-so franchisors who rip them off blind. I see it all the time. I get the stories. People come to me with dreadful stories, and I say, look, what can I do?
Thanks for that one there, Stephen. It's a great question. Let's keep moving on, Jim. Let's whip through some because people left comments and we're behind a bit. Katie Ring says, did you know I've watched every Jim's live since signing my contract in March every week? Fantastic.
Good on you.
Thank you for the support, Kate.
Thank you.
And then Paul Evans says, Jim and Joel are great guys. Jim's very funny. Never been just described as very funny before. That's a new one. That's good.
Well, I go off my...
Don't know about the great comment
I go off my tree
either.
about certain things. If that amuses you, well, that's good, I suppose.
I don't know about the great comment either there as well. Then David Dye says...
that's aspirate. It's not... I haven't got
Yeah, no, we don't do any testing. Yeah, we don't do that. David Dye says, I've watched every one but one live. That's fantastic, David. We appreciate your support as well. The true fans are on. We make sure the true fans...
We do have some very true fans. We appreciate you all.
And Eric Jurgen says they have legally advised you whether you can do that. Then you can call other franchisees to do a lot of seeing that way. I read my whole contract word for word. It's a fair deal for us.
Good on you, yes. Actually, that's a very good thing too. Our contract is deliberately... I've actually shortened it myself several times, changed the wording, trying to make it readable. It is actually... It's in plain English. It's not that difficult to understand. You can read through it. I've actually stripped down a lot of the legalese myself. I don't care what the lawyers say. Make it so that a normal person can understand it.
That's it. Let's keep moving on. We've got Danny Hattersley's gone question if I'm not...
It's a credit to you. It's a credit to you having done that. I awarded that. Better than having a lawyer look at it, in my view.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
go on. Yeah. Big passion point tonight, which is the franchising stuff, as you can understand. Danny Hattersley has gone question if I'm not happy with the level of support from my franchise, or do they have to prove their support, or do we have to prove they haven't supported? It's a good question.
It's pretty obvious in a way. When you talk about level of support, the things are, for example, when you ring them, do they ring you back? Now, if you can show that you've rung your franchisor and he hasn't or she hasn't returned your calls within 24 hours on business days, and that's a pattern, that's actually a breachable offence for the franchisor. Also, your franchisor should be ringing you, or at least trying to ring you regularly. They should be having meetings. It's actually pretty obvious. You can prove it. We do terminate franchisors for not providing service. There's one particular franchise I was looking at just on the surveys. This guy's in big trouble.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, we'll
I'm not going to mention who it was, but we got 4 responses back, and this guy is not ringing their franchisees, and they're not running enough meetings.
That's it. But Jim, yeah, basically, so what's the advice for then, Danny? Do they email you or just wait for the surveys, or what happens, or what do you want them to do?
Well, the surveys, if you've got any concerns, email me. I'll keep it confidential.
Yeah.
I can actually tell you what the survey results are. I can't share any information about who said what, but I can show you the information about the franchisors and what they're doing. So we had one franchisee complaining bitterly about a franchisor. This happened just this last week. And what I did is I checked the survey. This was the franchisor who actually left at the end of the year, but I checked the survey for last year and they were a diamond. In other words, basically the franchisees in the region were saying, this person is fantastic, they're very helpful, they respond straight away, I'll take the call, they ring me every week or more often. And there was a franchisor complaining, they had no credibility because the other franchisees in the region, and this person presumably wasn't even answering the survey because there's no negatives at all in it. So when you see that kind of thing, it's pretty obvious. But then you see a pattern where the franchisor isn't doing the right thing, and they get into trouble. We do send out several breaches a year based on like a survey. the lack of support. If you got any issues, just email me, jim@gyms.net, and I'll go through it with you, and I can tell you anything.
Let's keep moving on. So thanks for letting us know. Dave McDonald says Jim doesn't have a filter, Joel. You should know that by now.
No, my wife often complains about me.
Very true.
She says I don't even think about it, just verbal diarrhea.
That's it. It's always live. It's always a risk. It's always a risk. Paul Sandel says, "Phew, lucky Jim didn't fat shame me. I reckon Haydar has done really well." Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he did well. I admired him for taking it off. He put him on again. Come on, Haydar, if you're still watching. Let's see a bit of join. How about joining the gym's personal? Is he going to join the gym's personal? Did he say that?
He's going to do the live Zoom training for the next 6 weeks.
That's a good idea. Haydar, I'll take you up on the farm and I'll give you 4 hours of work cutting bracken every week. That'll
and lifting up llama poo.
And picking up llama poo.
Going on. In Kerry's gone here. Stephen Boots. I started a carpet cleaning franchise 7 years ago. The person I brought the territory off got legal advice when he brought it. I didn't get legal advice and have had no problems. So thanks for that feedback, Kerry, in the comments. We're catching up. That's how far behind. Let's keep going down here as well. Dave McDonald. Have you watched The Mandalorian yet with Baby Yoda?
I tried to. Didn't like it.
Didn't like it? All right, cool. Let's keep going. Jim's Dog Wash.
I didn't like. What's the name of that spin-off? Which was.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
No, there was another one with who was the young bloke in Star Wars?
Solo.
You had Solo. Solo.
Yeah.
That was the one. Yeah, I tried to watch that one too, and it was all too much action.
Too much action. Right.
No, I like intrigue.
Right.
I like the human story. I'm not so much interested in just racing all the time. I find that boring.
Then Jim's Dog Washing Grooming, Janine from Jim's Dog Washing Glenelg has tuned in, so thanks for that one as well. Then Sharon's gone, I saw Jim sorting out his rowing machine. I wouldn't be challenging him to an arm wrestle. And then
Well, he was there.
I was there. Yeah. Well, surprised. You did pretty well. Heather Campbell's gone, Joel, bench press Jim. I don't know if we can maybe do it. Nathan Craig, I'm fencing over in Bunbury, WA. My first year and I haven't had any issue with getting work. I'm now booked out for a minimum 6 months work. Jeez.
Wow. Yeah.
Best move I've done from Nathan Crager over in Bunbury, WA. Beautiful part of the world.
Fencing is an incredible business.
Booked out for 6 months.
I am really astounded that more people don't do it. It's great money. It's lots and lots and lots of work. You can put workers together. You can put a team together. You can put multiple teams together. It's a fantastic business. There's so much demand for the service, and we charge a premium price in gyms. We really can, because it's a high fear thing.
They do a great job. I've had a mate use Jim's fencing, and he told me it's a really good experience, which is great to hear.
We've got about 15 people going in for training at the moment, and we've basically lost a few when we took it over because there weren't people who weren't actually in it. But we're actually starting to grow very, very fast. To me, it's one of the greatest business opportunities in the country. That's
it. And Eric Jerry's got, I'll back Joel over Jim. I think the two of you should have a contest, and the loser must say kind things about the other on Jim's life for 3 weeks without saying anything derogatory. I like that comment. I like that one, Eric. That shows you how far behind the comments tonight we are.
Choke in my mouth. If I got beaten up by this lump of lard over here,
lump of lard. Jeez, that's a bit mean. Got skin and bones over here. Got the old skeleton over here telling me that one. I'm seeing the Mr. Burns picture when he comes out with Marge Simpson.
Don't speak bad about my hero, Mr. Burns. Forever. Excellent.
Janine Rank has gone, we're very busy with dog wash up in Mackay, which is great, up in Queensland, nice part of the world. Then Katie said, Jay,
don't you pronounce it Mackay?
Mackay, sorry, it is Mackay. I said Mackay. I don't know why.
I've been to Mackay.
Yeah? How'd you like it?
Well, I only went through it because I was just driving through. That's why that lady at the airport said to me, which I quite, she saw the uniform and said, is there really a gym?
Well, there you go.
And I said, yes, there is. And then she said, have you met him?
What did you say? You just laughed, didn't you?
I just laughed.
And move on. David John says, not $1,000 an hour. I'm only on $110 an hour. I think Jim only gets about 30 cents an hour of me. Lol. Shoot up your rates, David. You can't lose customers, obviously. Keep putting your rates up. Then David Don says, Jim, say hi to Craig and Chelsea.
That's what I say to anybody, too. If you book 6 months in advance, why aren't you charging more? Lose them more. I actually say that quite often to franchisees when they're so busy and they've only got $1 sign. I say, you're not getting knocked back enough. Put your prices up.
Then David Don says, Jim, say hi to Craig and Chelsea, who are watching from Portland.
Hi, Craig.
There you go. And Chelsea.
And Chelsea.
Craig and Chelsea. You remember that one?
From Portland, yeah. Good on you.
Then Sam gone.
Nice place, Portland.
Then Sam Tanuri's gone, I might buy a Jim's Dog Wash franchise, which is a great choice. And David Don says, no antennas in Albury Wodonga. No, there isn't. Then Paul Evans says, God bless and peace to everyone who's watching. And then Sam Tanuri's gone, I will come there. And then Janine's gone, come to Mackay. We need people here to help carry up all the workload. So people are trying to pinch people on live, which is great. Saying, come to Mackay and do dog wash, which is great. I know.
What happens is it's funny when you get somebody who travels interstate and has had a franchise and wants to go somewhere else. And there's about 3 franchises all getting together saying, come into I'll give you a free franchise. They just, if they're a good franchisee, everybody wants them.
And Paul Evans is saying a few funny things. If he's gone flat earth and he says NASA is a scam. We'll keep going. What do you think about that? I think we don't agree with that one. Janine Renake's gone.
And flat earthers and anti-vaxxers and stuff. The trouble is sometimes it's serious. Being flat earth doesn't matter, but when you're against vaccinations and stuff, that's a real bad problem.
Janine Renake's gone. Well, they're trying to call it pro-choice now. I've got the right to choose, and I think that's a stupid thing they're trying to get across the line.
You've got a right to choose. You've got a right to pick other people and have kids die of measles because of your
incompetence,
stupid values.
Janine Reneke's gone, depends anything from 6 to 12, depending on times of washers and grooms, which is a lot of work, which is great. Then Belinda Hadley says, hi from Jim's Dog Wash, Northern Queensland. So the franchisors, I'm saying we need people. So that's it. So make your pitch on there, Belinda. If anyone wants to move up to Queensland and get out of here when you can, might be a good option for you. Susan Fordham says, hello all, what are your views on setting up franchises in other countries? Well, we have gyms in NZ in Canada.
Yeah, we do. And but we basically failed in the UK. It's very difficult. The problem is, anywhere you go in Australia and New Zealand, the brand is incredibly well known. It's very easy to start a new division and get work. You go to I'm not saying same in Vancouver or in British Columbia, but you go to somewhere else, you've got to establish the brand from nothing.
Yep.
And it's really, really difficult.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of money in the market.
In a sense, you can put the same amount of effort into getting a new division going in Australia or New Zealand and have vastly more effect than trying to start in another country.
Very true. And Nate McDonald says they already work remotely, have been since about April. And Paul Evans says, you are a great character, Jim, with a great sense of humour. Again, saying you're funny. 2 times in one night. Gee whiz. Must be on fire tonight. Then Nathan Junk's gone, good on you, Jim, which is great. We always get good on you, Jim, or you're a legend or a ledge, something like that, which is great. So thanks for watching there, Nathan. I think you're a first-time watcher. Then Mike Porter's gone, Jim, what's your favourite space film other than Star Wars and Star Trek? That's a good question, Mike. Good question.
I don't really know.
I like Starship Troopers. That was good.
Yeah, Interplanetary was quite good too.
Oh, Interstellar. I liked Interstellar. Interstellar was a good movie. I like Matthew McConaughey. He was good.
Well,
if I could be anyone in the world, I'd be Matt McConaughey. That accent with the girls, man. Oh, easy.
I thought the one where they actually, I found it very moving and disturbing when they had that spaceship that went off and this person, the guy woke up.
The Mars one with Matt Damon.
No, not Matt Damon. I watched Mars. That was very scary.
The Martian.
No, they were on an interplanetary spaceship, and it is still a spaceship. And it was one where most people were asleep. It's going to take like generations to get there. And this guy wakes up, and then he wakes up this girl.
I can't remember that one.
And they're not going to reach the others for 100 years.
Oh.
So in the end, they produce a garden on the spaceship.
Right. Okay.
That's very sad. Oh. To me, that was very sad though, because I don't know what it's called.
It's Ben now in the background. Ben, we'll have to think about that one. What about Aliens? Did you like Aliens back in the day? Alien?
I remember.
Did you watch it?
Coming out of the stomach.
Going to the stomach, going on the old face sucker and going bang.
Yeah. That's what I did like. I like ones that have got a bit of a real world, but a bit out, like Limitless. Have you seen that one?
Limitless is good with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. Well, don't ask me about actors. I don't know that kind of stuff. But you know where he takes the
pill.
The pill and it changes his way of thinking and stuff. I like that kind of stuff.
It's the movie Passengers.
Passengers. You've got it.
There, well done, Ben, our producer.
But I like Black Mirror too. I like those
Black
kinds of thinking.
We're a bit of a Black Mirror at the moment, aren't we? Yeah. A bit of the old pandemic, a bit of a Black Mirror episode in real life.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff too.
Let's keep punching on here.
I love Foundation series. I mean, it was really exciting. Foundation coming out. Apple doing it. They're coming out next. I mean, I don't subscribe, but I'm going to become a subscriber to Apple TV just to watch Foundation.
There you go, Apple TV.
That is a classic. That is a brilliant. I love Foundation.
There we go. What about Kenny? You got to rewatch Kenny again?
Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely, happy to laugh. Taylor Alcock's going, hi guys, would Jim ever attend a franchise meeting via Zoom? I think it would be great as some people cannot afford the time. Sorry, I'll read the comment to watch the Facebook Live. We must attend 6 weekly meetings. I think it'd be amazing to have someone positive impacts if you intend on the franchisee on Zoom meeting.
I read your mind. I've offered it repeatutely to the franchisors. You ever want me to come to a meeting, I'll be there. I'm in the middle of you by Zoom.
So talk to your Zor. We do have a paid account now. Talk to your
Zor and just going to put in. I don't have to run the whole meeting, but I can come and answer questions and stuff. Zoom isn't bad.
Absolutely, so we can do it. We have made this offer before.
Can do it. Absolutely, made the offer. Nobody's ever
taken it up on it. Yeah,
nobody's ever taken me up on it, but happy to come.
And Katie Reading says, "Welcome to Kate Hopley." So Kate's watching, which is great. John Formosa's gone. Disappointing under current restrictions. Face-to-face training has been suspended. Absolutely,
I'm disappointed too.
Really peed off about it because we all pumped, sort of building the program out. I know Mike was.
There is something about training here which is quite special. It's kind of like you're very emotional, very excited. There's a chance to feel you're a part of something real. And then I just love to be able to meet my future franchisees face to face, because I know too if I've met them and talked to them a bit, then they're more likely to contact me afterwards. I don't know if anybody's had that experience who's watching now, but to me it's a key part of our whole culture that we get this idea across about gyms is different. We do value franchisees to an extreme degree, and this whole ethos, and you get that when you come to us, and you get to hear from me personally and to speak to me, and hopefully have a picture taken, though not the last time.
You can't do that, yeah.
Which is just something special, and the conference centre is nice, and the food is pretty good too.
The food is great.
That's right, because if I don't like the food, I go and tell the kitchen.
You do, don't you?
How's my franchisees, Ben?
Oh no, it's quite funny. We've actually I'm going to pump a podcast. We had Mike Davenport in during the week for his 20 years, and I interviewed him about the training and how it's developed over the time. And back in the day, they used to have the mobile catering. They used to get meat in the back of the van. It was apparently it was roast beef every day during the training, back of the truck, and now how it's evolved and all that sort of stuff. It was quite interesting.
Well, that's the whole reason we got this place here, was so we can have people stay overnight and
there's nothing else like it. I don't know, when people do their researching on franchising, look at the bloody training. I'm telling you now, there's nothing like it. You might look at other systems and that and go, I like that because it's low or whatever. I'm telling you, they don't have the same training.
On the Wednesday afternoon, the last day of the generic course, we actually asked people, give a comment, and so many of them say, this is just fantastic. I wasn't sure before, I'm convinced, because they see what we are and what we do, and they get to speak to the founder, which is, it's a great experience. It really is. I have people actually in tears. It's quite emotional at times, really.
We do the montage where generally when we've had it here, the film when they say the last 3 days, and we have got some on YouTube if you can watch that. But we do that, and people do.
They get very, very emotional, and that comes across because so much of a company is its culture. It's not just the formality. It's not just the way you write the contracts, though that does reflect our values very strongly because they're so protective of franchisee rights. But it's that sense of what you believe in. And people often ask me, aren't you proud of having nearly 4,000 franchisees? And I say, the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that most franchisors really care about their franchisees genuinely. Not all, but most of them do. And that's something I take enormous pride in because those are my values. And you get that as you come here, and you'll never get it as strongly as you don't. We really hope people who've never been able to come
back. Yeah.
Will come back sometime, because any franchisee, I don't know if I say this often enough, any franchisee, any of our franchisees is welcome to come to our head office anytime.
What I think we should do...
And just say hello and be introduced around and talk to anybody you like and talk to myself and just, you're part of our family.
Well, here's an option, Jim. What about the people who did all the online course post when we can have people back here? We just do an event, maybe, let's say, because we've got the massive gala room there, we can do an event for everyone there, like a mixer or something. As opposed to just coming in willy-nilly, I think it'd be better. They can meet everyone else who they would have met during the course.
Look, we're certainly happy to set that up. Or even if you just want to come, perhaps during the later training session and come and we'll shout you to a meal and you can have lunch or dinner with us and just get to meet us a bit. It's look, the training is good. It's much better to do it than not to do it. But to be here is really good. It's
and what we'll do
experience.
And it is. And what we'll do for prospects, we did it last time. If there's enough demand, we'll have Jim as a private Q&A and Mike Davenport as a private Q&A. So only people who do the course they'll be the only people who can see it. So we had around 20 people who did last time and asked a few questions about the training component and stuff. So if there is demand for that, we will do a private one-on-one.
I want you to know that I'm accessible too. People find it very hard to comprehend. They say, how can a CEO of the largest franchise chain in the country be available to talk to any franchisee? And it's true, but sometimes you just have to try, you just have to meet me, and then you understand that really, to me, you are important.
That's it. And Paul Evans says, who's game enough to try Bill Gates' new COVID vaccine? We're going on here. Tony John says, Jim, Australians go out for Chinese. Can I ask Lee if Chinese ever go out for Australian? Never had that question before.
Go what?
Go out for Australian.
What is it? No, I don't think so. What is an Australian dish? I'd like to know. I don't think we have our own culture unless it's witchery grubs and
sausage and
some damper, the old damper, the bread in the ground and stuff like that. Maybe do
like in Crocodile Dundee. Remember the feast he had? You remember that one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen Crocodile?
I've seen Crocodile Dundee. I can't remember the scene.
No, when he's with the girl and he's showing her all this native
bush tucker,
bush tucker that he's made. And you make some joke about it, you just got to eat the cans or something. I'd love that film. It's wonderful. He made him a rich man. He spent made it for a little ton of money, and he made a fortune.
Then John Formosa's gone. It is polarising. Back into the comment maybe for training. I don't know which part John's polarising with the online or face to face. I don't know which part. Just let us know a bit more, John, about that one. Happy to answer.
Come through. Tell us what you mean.
Yeah, James Hannigan's gone. Jim, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned you were reading a book about Neanderthals. What is your opinion about the species? I've read a few interesting theories from James Hannigan. That's a very good question and a unique one.
Yeah, it's very good. Well,
what do you think about Archie in the office? What do you think?
Well, actually, I think Archie's got Neanderthal blood. but so have I, and so have you. The only people who don't are actually people who come from sub-Saharan Africa, by and large. So we're all a bit Neanderthal. We're all just a couple of percent Neanderthal.
Some a bit more than others.
Some a bit more than others, yes.
I'm not saying you. I didn't look at you. Then I was thinking of some other people.
No, I think actually it's an interesting book. Actually, she tried to make the point, this author, that the reason that Neanderthals were so successful was because one of the reasons is because we domesticated dogs, and there's limited evidence for that. But it was a very good summary. I forget the name of it. It just come out, a book of Neanderthals, and it was a very good summary of all the research and stuff. It suggested that our ancestors were much better hunters. We were much more dense populations after we took over. And there is some evidence that people used to think that we coexisted for about 15,000 years, and she's actually questioned the dating and shows it quite likely that this been very, very quickly, and explained how that happened in terms of competitive hunting and so forth. It's a very, very interesting book. I love that kind of stuff. There's a film series called Walking with Cavemen, which is wonderful, made by the BBC. That's a really, really great one. I'd love to get hold of that.
Walking with Cavemen.
Walking with Cavemen.
All right.
And it's all about human evolution, like Homo erectus and stuff. But this book is very up to date and very, very good. I can't think of the name of it, but if you just look up Neanderthals, it's a recent book, just came out this year.
Great question, James. That's a good one. Dave McDonald says, I've contacted you before and I always feel I can contact you, which is great.
You certainly can.
Then Sam Tenuri's gone, hi Jim, do you remember every single franchisee that does the training?
No.
No, he's very honest about that. Corporately, he should say, absolutely I do.
No, I absolutely don't. I've got a terrible memory for names, and not only that, but I've got even worse memory for faces. I get confused. I mean, barely, it's hard for me to tell my office staff apart half the time, honestly.
He does.
Face blinds.
I reckon it took him around 7 years to know who I was, so don't worry about that. Don't everyone gets a real offended though. He doesn't know my name, but you do come a lot of people though.
No, that's not true. When you moved into insurance, I knew who you were. You were the ugly-looking, overweight guy sitting in the corner.
Ugly-looking, overweight guy. See, fat shaming again, Jim. Cancel culture's real, Jim. This might get cancelled due to you fat shaming me all the time.
If you really were fat, I wouldn't take you off. I wouldn't pull you off. I would call my son that. You can't understand. We get like a house on fire, but we're always telling him he's fat and smelly, which is. And he says, other dads don't say this to their children. They're always saying good things to their kids. But he comes up behind me and whacks me with a pillow.
Well, as he should.
We have these monstrous pillow fights. Going wham, wham, wham.
Well, he's got a bit of a weight behind him. He should be hitting you pretty hard, doesn't he?
He is actually. One of his favourite tricks, I sit on a rubber ball, and he comes in behind me and goes and kicks the ball like that. Or jumps on top of me like that when I'm trying to work.
Jeez,
so
hope
I
you don't
chase
get hurt
him
from
out
it.
and then tickle him and then lock the door in the room.
But I'd say, Sam, every franchisee has Jim's mobile number. So if you do ring him, he always answers. And if you can come and meet him, Jim will meet with anyone.
I will.
All that sort of stuff. So Belinda Hadley's gone, Joel, we need groomers in Queensland, especially up north. We cannot keep up. She's gone, Joel, exclamation mark, Mackay. Because I said it wrong, Mackay. I said Mackay. I don't know why I said Mackay. Mackay. Up in Mackay.
Mackay.
Sure, it's be a nice area actually to do something up there. I reckon a lot of Victorians maybe should move up there maybe. Better government maybe up there, do a lot of work.
There is nothing wrong with Queensland.
Half of Queensland Victorian anyway.
They're moving it a couple of thousand kilometres close to the South Pole. I just don't know how you can stand the heat, that's all.
Well, half of Queensland's Victorians anyway. It's Victorians or Central Coast. That's
I cannot comprehend it. I was going to move anywhere for the most of the climate. It'd be to the south into Tasmania. I do not like the heat.
We're in Antarctica, Jim. You could go over there, couldn't you?
I don't know. I reckon I'm not that extreme. I think somewhere like Christchurch, southern New Zealand,
Beautiful
Hobart,
place.
those kinds of areas around there.
Hobart's beautiful.
It's fantastic. I like going working on my farm. I like last time when last Saturday I was actually up there in the rain outside, just chocking bracket, but it's fun.
There we go. And Eric Jurgen says, I have a big surprise in the next couple of weeks for you, Jim and Joel. Wonder what this big surprise is. Taylor Rawcock, I'm a bit worried now. Taylor Rawcock says, doing the training at the centre helps build the network we all start with when we step out and actually start. I think it was awesome.
It does too.
But I know Paul's getting Jim's networking going again. So he's red hot on that. So
yeah,
once we get that done properly, we'll do a video with Paul and how franchisees can use it. I know he's trying to kick it off. So it's good to see.
It went off very well in the beginning, but the trouble is, as I always say, they get the network where it's one from each division and they all meet together. They quickly get so much work that they drop it. That's what always happens.
Correct.
The people who do it get busy very, very fast.
Probably a good thing for the new franchisees, maybe, that the new franchisees keep transitioning out. Eric Jurgen says, you'll need mobile coffee there to help out. And then Belinda says, in Mackay is free girls.
Mackay.
I keep saying Mackay. There's a footy player called Andrew Mackay from Carlton, and I hate Carlton. I don't know why I keep saying it. Belinda Hadley's gone, in Mackay is 3 girls are fully booked. I'm booked a year in advance.
Yeah.
A year, that's the most I've ever heard. We need groomers. A year in advance. People are willing to wait a year.
No, I don't think so. I think what she means is she just got jobs booked in regularly, which so often happens actually.
And then John Famos has gone, I'm going to strongly suggest that my franchisees who have done online training make time to attend at Moorabach training as a refresher. Hopefully the cost for free gym. I want them to get the full gym
I'm
effects.
sure we can manage that, John.
Well, if they pay for the training.
If they pay for the course,
Correct.
they're welcome to come and do a refresher. They're welcome to come and have a meal or just do a course or two. You can just come for the ethos session. It'd be great. Yeah, we absolutely would love to see
So
them.
is it free?
Yeah, it's free.
All right, there you go, free.
It's free. If they've already paid, they want to come and do it again, it's free. And that includes meals, everything. We'd be happy to have them again. I absolutely mean it.
And then John Famos is going, attending face-to-face is polarising to the new franchisee as they get to see and feel the culture firsthand. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's definitely a good way to instill the values with your ethos on Monday morning. So the answer is yes, John. Anyone who's done the online training, if they do want to come back and come into the session and do it again,
you hold me to that.
It's probably a good idea.
I will do it.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure John's got the clip. He's got to clip it out, send it to Rocky tomorrow. So book him in when we can do it. Absolutely. It'd be great, actually. It'd be great to see him because they haven't had the chance like everyone else. So,
well, being Victorians, it's not that far to come anyway. So,
true.
Yeah, be great. I think it'd be. I would. If they don't want to do the whole course, just try and at least come to the ethos, or at least come to have lunch with us, or something like that.
I think that'd be the way to go.
I would love to meet them. I really would.
The David Don says, "What a great night tonight!" Absolutely, Dave. It's been great because of the interactions in the comments. That's what we need in these things.
We've got some good questions too. And what we got Neanderthals and
we had everything. It's been
life elsewhere in the universe.
Yeah, it's been pretty full on.
There's some good stuff there.
The David Don says, "I always call my kids stinky monkey bums. They hate it, but I see it as a sign of affection." The David Don says, "Where's Wade? Can you ring him and make sure he's okay?" I might have to ring Wade. Where is he? Going, sorry I'm late. Gee whiz, been busy with my daughter. She's not well. Well, sorry to hear about your daughter. And hopefully she can hug that teddy to get better. And Eric Jurgen says,
I tell you, Wade, it must be an emergency, Wade, when you're not here. It's like your appointment of the week.
I was going to say, I think people half come on for Wade in there just to come in the comments. But it's a bit annoying because I want him to come to training. That's the one I want him to do.
You really should, Wade. You come to training. If nothing else, just come to training. That's a sign. There's nothing compulsory. I mean, I will come and kick your head in if you don't, but apart from that...
Gee whiz, he's going to come on.
Nothing, you can just come for the experience. I actually say to people sometimes, somebody wants to start their own division or their own franchise system, I say, why don't you come and do our training? Come and do the franchisee course and the franchisor course, and if you want to, you can go out, take what you know, and run your own business. And it has happened in the past, at least once or twice.
Please don't do that, though. We think
No, I'm quite reasonable. Yeah. The reason is because I know quite well, when they come and they see what we've got to offer, they look at it and say, wow, this is amazing. And they actually want to come with us.
100%. Let's keep going. Wade Aston's going, I wasn't on last week or the week before when we were ignored. Yes, I know you were ignored during the live with franchisees. We're gonna fix that up. I know he's still hurting about that, Jim. People are still hurting about that.
The pain's still there, Wade. I understand that. You'll never go. It'll be a scar.
Never happen again.
Even in your
Three
coffin,
questions.
There'll be a scar across your heart because of the way you were madly treated by us, Jim. I apologise.
Paul Sandel says, Jim's networking reboot will require all franchisees to refer work or they'll be removed on to allow newer franchisees to take their place. This is in line with all of the most successful networking groups like BNI, Fresh or BX, and that's what Jim was just saying before.
I do think there's divisions that could do with more, like particularly ones like bookkeeping and so forth, or computer services that should get these together and keep them going and get the new guys on. I think there's opportunities there to do a lot more networking.
That's it. And Warwick Jordan's gone, sad to say you weren't. So sad to say you weren't mentioned. We forgot you. Then Taylor Alcott goes, if you would be Mr. Burns, Jim, does that mean Joel is Smithers? I'm definitely not Smithers.
No.
I don't go that way, Taylor. And then nothing wrong with that.
I can quite assure you, he's into.
Yeah. We'll keep moving on. Matthew Steele's gone. Yeah, we'll keep going. Matthew Steele's gone. Can we still order the Jim's Monopoly game? That's a great question. Absolutely, you can do the pre-order. We've got great news with Monopoly. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it's hopefully going to be ahead of schedule. So we're making room out for them. We're going to be boxing those out.
We want to do a video. We're going to have
unboxing.
Someone's going to the unboxing, but down the track we're going to actually play a game and we're going to have the highlights.
And so then Jim just get cracking it, just going, just dominating everything, going whack.
Well, actually, I managed to do that with my kids. I don't like Monopoly very much, but I played with them, and I made all these plans and intrigues and deals and stuff. And then they looked at me disgusted. They didn't even like the game, and you keep winning.
And Damien Don's gone, tell Wade he has to buy, or you'll treat him like a broken rowing machine. Absolutely. Then Taylor Alcock's gone, what is the benefit of becoming a franchisor over being a franchisee? Great question, Mark. Great question.
Well, not necessarily any, actually. Some of our top earners in gyms are actually franchisees. There are franchisees who make more money than about 90% of our franchisors.
Yeah, we hear that sometimes.
So
absolutely.
If you enjoy actually being out in the field and working and just doing the job and perhaps employing people to do the job, then stick with that. Being a franchisor is more to do with being a coach. And the people who are best as franchisors are people who just enjoy helping others to succeed. So what we look for ideally is a franchisee who is good at what they do, who makes good money, because otherwise there's no point. If you're not making $1,500 a week, you can't be a franchisor because you're not making a living yourself. Great customer service, but we want somebody who really loves that thing. And franchisors in general enjoy that side of it. They get that great thrill of seeing people succeed. Somebody comes into business, they don't know what doing, it's their first business, normally it is, and they can just talk to them regularly and they can coach them and they can encourage them. And then down the track a bit, 6 months later, here's a guy making, $200,000 a year, having a great lifestyle, and they're seeing their kids, and just seeing that is a tremendous reward. And I know for myself, actually, that is the biggest buzz I ever get, far greater than seeing numbers and anything else, is just hearing from franchisees how well they've done. And if you have that kind of passion to help others, it's a brilliant business.
Absolutely.
And you don't necessarily make all that money. I mean, until you got about 20 franchisees, you really couldn't make a living out of it. The ones who've got 50 or 100 do very well, of course. So you've got to have the numbers. But it's a lifestyle thing.
Absolutely. So what we'll do is, who do you want to get the books to, Jim? I wrote down a couple of suggestions.
Well, there were some great questions. I love the one about the life on other planets. I love the one about Neanderthals. Those
well, that's a good
really
one.
Stand out.
I wrote down Mike Porter. So Mike Porter done a question. I can't remember his question, but I wrote him down for a reason. Then I like the Stephen Boots one about the reading the contract. Should I read the contract or not? Because he's going to come here to training anyway.
Yeah, that is a very good question.
So the Stephen Boots one, because that got you with a big passionate plea with that one. So that forced it out of you. So we'll get 4 books. So
we had some good comments tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're going to give 4 books away. So what we're going to do, it was awesome. So thanks, guys. Same time again next week, 7 o'clock, Australian Eastern Standard Time for us. Jim, there might be some more developments with COVID in Victoria, so please tune in if you're a franchisee wondering what's happening. That's probably the best way to get it. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you again next week.
Okay.